Live, where news comes first. This is WECT News.
Hello again, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us tonight at 5:30. I'm John Evans. New at 5:30, the State Department of Health and Human Services is working with North Carolina's First Lady to launch a new program aimed at helping people with severe mental illnesses. WECT's J.C. Caldwell learned more about that program, and J.C., it also works with people who are just released from prison.
Yeah, John, the program is called FACT, which stands for Forensic Assertive Community Treatment. FACT will have teams in 4 counties across the state, including right here in New Hanover County. FACT teams are part of a long-term effort by the State Health Department to support people when they're released from incarceration. The services they offer can include mental health care, housing, educational support, substance use disorder care, day-to-day living support, and even referrals if needed. Each team can help up to 30 clients at a time. Officials say these teams will make a huge difference in North Carolina.
Why do we need it? Because, again, statistically speaking, 50 to 75% of folks who end up in the criminal justice system have mental health and substance use issues. When they come out, they don't just need help getting a job, getting employment, reconnecting with their family. They literally need mental health and substance use supports.
To be eligible for services, an individual must have a serious mental illness and present a medium to high risk of criminal behavior. Each team will receive $636,000 per year for 3 years. John?
Well, JC, when will the FACT teams actually be up and running to actually help people on the ground, specifically like in New Hanover County?
Yeah, good question. Well, it does depend on the team, but officials say the goal is to have them all ready to go by the end of this year or early next year.
So 3 to 6 months. I know that'll be positive help for those who need it. JC, thanks.